Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law off after she breastfed my daughter? Ew! How does a mother-in-law even breastfeed your daughter if she's not producing any milk? It's just like powdery. I, 35 female, have a beautiful baby girl who is 3 weeks old. Husband is a travel nurse and has recently left for another state again. My mother-in-law moved in with us prior to me being 6 months pregnant. She had a severe gambling addiction and got into heavy debt. My husband paid it off and unfortunately used half of his income. Her debt ate about a huge portion of our savings account. She would kiss my belly and say weird shit like, "How's my daughter doing in there? I can't wait to meet you. Hey little girl, if you act up, I'm gonna have to spank you." She then laughed it off like the sicko she is. When I gave birth, I wanted only me and my husband in the room, as this is one of the most vulnerable times of my life where my lady parts are going to be exposed and I'm going to experience the hell of labor. My mother-in-law screams and cries, calling me a bitch and saying I'm being inconsiderate. I never understood people who were so pushy on wanting to be in the room. Like, you guys need to give it up 100% to the mom. She picks and chooses. You're at her disposal. It is not up for discussion. I don't care. If my sister wants me there, I'll be there, okay? If I want my sister there, she'll be there. If I don't want you there, you're not going to be there. It's simple as that. Like, no one's feelings should get hurt. It's literally the mom's body's going through that type of thing. Why do you think you have a say in it? I don't care if you're the grandma, mom, brother, sister, dad, cousin, brother, uncle, whatever you are. I tell her she won't be in, and that's final. Well, my baby girl arrives, and I'm so darn happy. Shortly after maternity leave is over and I start work, my mother-in-law is now watching my baby girl. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I tried to take a nap, and I woke up to my mother-in-law breastfeeding my daughter. I run downstairs and scream at my mother-in-law and take my daughter out of her arms. I told her what she did was disgustingly horrible, awful, and just generally was so out of line. My mother-in-law confesses that she had been lactating and has been doing tips for breastfeeding, and they had worked. Wait, so your mother-in-law Googled how to make herself lactate? That is so fucking weird. I am pissed and generally grossed out. I tell her off, and hours later I get a voicemail from my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law, and everyone in the family that what mother-in-law did was cute and that I was in the wrong. Who in their right mind, I don't care how old your mother-in-law is or how old grandma is, to be breastfeeding your kid? That is so weird. That is nasty. That's disgusting. Like, oh my god, stop. Ah! I, 40 male, started to cheat on my wife, 38 female, but stopped halfway through. Do I still tell her? What? What? I want to know the reason why he stopped halfway through. Let's get into it. My wife and I have had a great relationship. I can't say I have any real complaints. We have been together for 5 years, married for 2 of those, and up until now, I would have said I would never stray. You're not making your case for you strong, buddy. I was away for work last week, and while I was in the hotel, a young woman, 21 female, sat next to me and began to flirt with me. Can I just say something about being on business trips? Okay, I've been on a few in my life. I can see why the workforce really why people gravitate towards that, because you're surrounded by all these pretty people, you have unlimited drinks. Like, I can see why people cheat on each other because it's so tempting and it's right there and it's available to you. Not condemning. I'm just saying, when I went on a work trip and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, all these people were hardcore flirting with each other and they're hella old. I'm like, you got kids, like, you're married, like, what are you doing? I don't know what it is about work trips that does this to people. Anyway, I have to admit, it was a real ego boost to be flirted by someone so young. I started to get that middle-aged dad bod and have been feeling like I'm losing my looks a bit. After a bit of talking, the woman invited herself back up to my hotel room. What? She doesn't invite herself up, okay? You invited her. Let's not get it twisted. For me, it was all about the thrill of being desired by someone other than my wife. Why? Why do you want to be desired by someone else? Isn't marriage about being desired by your spouse? Like, that's all that matters? Why do you care about someone else wants you or not? The person who wants you the most has you. Isn't that what matters? Especially by a very young woman. See, the keyword young. I don't know what it is. Men love the validation. Old men love the validation of a younger, prettier woman. I was slightly drunk, and I figured I'll probably never get the opportunity to sleep with a 21-year-old again. Disgusting! You're 40! Ew! But the thrill wore off very quickly as I realized that I wasn't enjoying myself. This girl was not good in bed. That's your reason? Oh my god. You're digging your grave deeper and deeper as I continue reading this. She basically just laid there and starfished. Sometimes she would pull herself into what she thought was a sexy pose, but that was it. She didn't seem interested in me at all. I might as well have been a human dildo because she seemed more interested in herself and how sexy she thought she was. Sleeping with my wife has always been amazing. When I'm with my wife, she's all over me, talking to me and telling me how hot I am, grabbing me, touching me, getting on top, and so on. I feel like the hottest guy in the world when I'm in bed with my wife. With this girl, I felt like I could just leave the room and she might not even notice, let alone care. She seemed like she just wanted the ego boost of a guy finding her attractive. Meet Kettle! I couldn't stay aroused and I stopped about 10 minutes into it and asked her to leave, which she did. I just took a shower and then called my wife to hear her voice. Now I'm back home and so far I haven't told my wife about any of it. There's a guilty part of me that says I should because she deserves to know, but another part of me says, why should I torpedo our happy marriage and cause her pain for something that I didn't even enjoy and will never do again? What is this man saying? From what I can understand, you're saying because you got zero enjoyment out of it and you will never do it again, there's no point in telling your wife. Oh my God. All it did was prove to me that I want my wife more than anyone else. I want to do the right thing, but I generally don't know what the right thing to do is here. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Let's not play games. I know that I will never ever stray again. Should I tell her or keep it to myself? I think you're just too chicken to tell her because you know the direction that this will take and you didn't have to test the waters to know what you had because you already had it great. And that's your fault for making a mistake. You never know. Your wife might, the slim chance that she might be open to talking about it and forgiving you. But she deserves to know. It's not fair because she has to hear it from your mouth because if it comes wrong, you're saying she'll never find out. You don't know that. It could come back and bite you in the ass. And when she finds out from someone else, you have zero chance of survival. Am I the asshole for demanding my fiance to stop teaching our kids bad manners? My fiance Lola and I have been together for 5 years, engaged for a little over a year, and we have twins, boy and girl, 2.5 years old. Our wedding is in 2 months. Lola usually takes care of feeding the kids in the morning since I work early, and so I never noticed this until recently. I took a week vacation from work to just spend time at home with my kids and Lola, and started to notice something that bothered me. Lola has been teaching our kids bad table manners and sees nothing wrong with it. I haven't noticed this before, as they don't eat this type of food for lunch, dinner, snacks, or eat it all the time, so I guess I just missed it as I wasn't home or she fed them other things on the weekends. This morning, I was helping Lola make breakfast, and then I got the kids ready while she brought their food out for them. As they were getting ready to eat, I noticed they didn't have forks, spoons, so I told Lola I would get them, and she said there was no need. I watched instead as she gave the kids tortillas that she ripped into pieces, and they were using their bare hands to grab the food using the pieces of the tortilla. I asked her what she was doing, and she should be giving them utensils, but she seemed shocked that I was concerned and said that that's how they usually eat. I told her that she was teaching them bad manners and making them think it was okay to just grab food with their hands. They're 2.5. Relax, chill out. She told me they do that anyway when they have chips or grapes or tacos and pizza, and listed a bunch of other snacks and fast food you eat without utensils. But I pointed out that those things are usually made to be eaten quickly or on the road, like fast food, so utensils aren't needed. She said I was being offensive by calling her way of eating gross and saying it was having bad manners. But I do think it's gross to see someone grabbing at food with their bare hands like that. They're babies. Oh my God forbid you travel to other countries where their main utensil is their hand. She said she grew up eating like that and would always use tortillas to make things like eggs or meat, rice, beans, and that it wasn't gross because she always made the kids wash their hands before they ate. I'm telling you, whenever the best food I ever had was food that my mom fed me from her hand. That, I don't know what it is about your mother's hand. When my mom would feed me, rice and meat and stuff, and she would grab it in her hand and feed me, it just tasted so good, and this guy's just being so judgmental. I ended up giving my kids forks for them to eat, which they didn't want to use, which made me even more frustrated with her, because now they're used to this. It's not like she's giving them macaroni and cheese to eat with her hand. She was using tortillas. What? Lola has been really annoyed the rest of the day and wouldn't let me help her with lunch. And earlier she was walking around the house speaking to someone, probably her sister, in Spanish about me, and I'm starting to feel a bit annoyed. So, am I the asshole? So he puts an edit here. He goes, I will add that the kids can use utensils and use them with foods like soups, pastas, etc. I just fear that allowing them to continue using their hands will make them used to it. Am I the asshole for not buying my boyfriend another birthday gift after he rejected the original present? I'm 25 and I've been with my boyfriend for over 3 years. His birthday was last week. Him and I are not into the same music, so we don't go to many shows together, but when we have gone together, it has been very fun. My boyfriend loves bands. I don't really know how else to put it. He listens to a lot of rock music from these bands I've never heard of. Imagine Dragons are coming to our city this summer. I know who they are, and I know they're a band, so I figured this would be an awesome present for my boyfriend. I got us the tickets and was very excited. My excitement was short-lived. It turned into sadness very soon. Here is a summary of how the gift exchange went down. I bought him some other smaller things, but put the ticket confirmation in an envelope with the card I made for him. He opens the envelope, and I'm met with the, what? I explained to him that they're coming to town and I thought it would be a lot of fun to go together and that I want to get more into the music he likes. Then he responds, this is not the music I like. Just because a band has instruments doesn't mean it's what I like. I'm honestly very sad at this point and I asked him if he really wouldn't have fun. He says, honestly, you should just try to get your money back. I don't want to go to this. I say, okay, as I'm literally holding back tears. He then says that I could try to resell the tickets. He goes on his phone and Googles concerts in the area around that day and says we could go to one of these shows instead. I snapped at him. I said I really tried to do something I thought he'd like and that it's extremely hurtful the way he responds. He says, we have been dating for 3 years. How did you not know that I don't like that music? I wouldn't get you tickets to the Travis Scott concert for your birthday because I am well aware you hate rap. You should have known I wouldn't like this. At that point, I've actually started crying. I just said I wanted to do something together and he didn't have to be so mean. He tried to take back everything he said and he was like, we can go. I'm sure it will be fun. I told him, fuck no. I know how he really feels. He is now upset, saying that it's basically like I got him nothing for his birthday since I won't resell the tickets to get different tickets and then I won't suck it up and go with him after he made it very clear how he feels. So, am I the asshole? Let me give it to you plain and simple, okay? I like listening to K-pop, right? I like BTS, I like Blackpink, I like Super Junior, I like Mamamoo, I like a bunch of people, okay? I'm just gonna use this group for an example. Don't come at me. Let's say, you know I listen to BTS all the time. Love, 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 love. And you buy me tickets to go to a 17 concert. I don't listen to 17. I don't know any of their songs. I don't know any of the members in the group. And you're just like, well, you like K-pop, so you must like this, don't you? Especially if you're my significant other, that would hurt my feelings. And I'll be like, you don't even know what groups I like. Like, you could have been sly with them, be like, hey, like, what do you think of Imagine Dragons, or how would you like to go to this, or something, something. And if they're like, I don't even know that group, you would have saved yourself all the trouble. 100% your fault, duh.